Well, the inevitable is upon us. There's a hurricane a-coming.
We made it almost through the whole hurricane season without having one, but the Farmer's Almanac does not lie.
That's what they said, and here we are. What started out as a tropical depression moved up to a tropical storm, now is a Category 1 hurricane. Francine's on the way.
So for this storm in particular, we're going to bring y'all along for the ride through this experience, and just so y'all can experience kind of how this whole process goes, because it's not just like, oh look, there's a storm coming, let's do X, Y, and Z. It's going to head directly right here, and this is how it's going to go. That is not at all the case.
The only positive thing about a hurricane is most of the time you do have time to make plans, make preparations, and doing what you want to do. But hurricanes are unpredictably predictable. So that means is by the time it gets here, who knows what category it'll actually be? Who knows exactly where landfall will actually be? But we have to be ready for if it hits here or if it hits to the west of us or the east of us.
So yesterday we started doing all those preparations.
Well, y'all, we thought we had done it. We thought we had made it all the way through hurricane season without the possibility of actually getting a storm or a hurricane like direct hit. We were wrong. So in the next day and a half, 2 days, somewhere in that time frame, there is a tropical storm in the Gulf of Mexico, and according to almost every weather service that you look at, the center line is going to be dead centered of where we live. Now, there is a possibility that this thing is just going to remain a tropical storm. We're just going to get some semi-high winds, a lot of rain, so forth, so on. But these storms are unpredictably predictable. Okay, and what I mean by that is that you can predict these storms. We're going to get one, and it's going to hit in the general vicinity. But what you don't know is the intensity. Is it going to remain the same? Is it going to weaken? Is it going to intensify before it makes landfall? And is it going to remain on path to be a direct hit to where we live? Those are questions we don't know. But what we can do is be prepared. Now, where we live, it's almost a given. If we get any kind of storm that amounts to anything, we're going to be without power. And that's where I'm headed to today. I have a 100-gallon diesel tank in the back of the truck. I have a few gas cans. I'm going to go ahead and top all them off. We have everything at home full, so we're starting off on a good note.
All right, y'all. Well, it is Monday morning. The hurricane or tropical storm, whatever it's going to turn into, is supposed to hit Tuesday night, Wednesday time frame. So one of my jobs that I wanted to go ahead and knock out early is getting all these power stations charged up. Now, if you have been watching us for any amount of time, we have been so fortunate to do a lot of sponsorships with a lot of different power station companies, and it really has been such an honor to do such a thing because it has brought us and a lot of people who we were able to give these to, whether that was family, whether that was subscribers. We do giveaways all the time with these. So being able to bring power into our life and other people's lives in the time of need is definitely something that we do not take for granted. We know that we're just so fortunate to have multiple power station backups, and this is what is going to get us through whenever we don't have any power. Now, the odds are probably slimmer of a chance of us keeping power than losing power. The other day we lost power, y'all, and it was sunny, no wind, just a beautiful 85-degree day, and for some reason, of course, we lost power. Now, we do always have our big generator outside, and then we also have our gas-powered generator, but for things like running the house, if it's not hot, we can actually run our whole house off of all this stuff that you see behind me. We can go ahead and recharge it up using our solar panels that we have, and we're gonna bring y'all along for that if the power does go out, which, like I said, is most likely gonna happen. So back here we have the Anchor Solix, we have Blue Eddy, we have E-Taker, Ampace, Segway, Internova, and we gifted some of these to, like I said, some of the family around. So they're actually benefiting from these power stations as well. We know that our family has like Ugreen and Jackery, and y'all, really, we have, like I said, worked with just so many companies, and each and every one of these definitely has something that is better than others, whether it's the convenience, whether it's being on a roller, whether it's better power. But all in all, we are just really, really fortunate to be able to have this amount of power stations. So I'm gonna get to charging. I know that it's a little bit early being that it's Monday and not Tuesday, but tomorrow I just don't wanna be worried about, man, should I charge these up? Are these charged up? Are they not? So what I'm gonna do is get them charged up, get them set aside and ready for the storm. I know it's just a little bit early for fall decorations, but y'all, October and Halloween is Ladley's favorite time, so I try to decorate just a little bit early so that we can enjoy our fall decorations just a little bit longer. Being from Illinois originally, it definitely does not feel like fall down here, nor do I actually think that it is fall yet, but that's okay. We're just gonna get in the spirit a little bit early.
Today's video is sponsored by Tecovas. Let me tell you why I always choose Tecovas boots. From the moment you pull them on, there's that instant feeling like you're ready to take on the world. It's a blend of comfort and confidence that only comes from something that's crafted with true passion. These boots are made by hand, step by step, over 200 individual steps in fact. And with premium leathers, both bovine and exotic, you're looking at boots that don't just look good, they'll last for generations. What I love most is that they're comfortable from day one. There's no breaking in, no sore feet, just pure broken in comfort right out of the box. If y'all get a chance, swing by one of their stores. They've got it all, complimentary drinks, free boot shines, and the kind of expert staff that'll make sure you leave with a perfect fit. Plus, you can add your own touch with their free branding and leather stamping. Western boots are more than just footwear. They're a piece of our heritage and our story. And with Tecovas, you're not just buying boots, you're buying into a legacy. Click the link in my description or scan the QR code on the screen to grab your new favorite pair today. Tecovas, where comfort meets true grit. Now the purpose for the 100-gallon diesel tank is that we have a generator that is powered by our tractor, and we can run the whole house. And what we like to do with that generator is run it long enough to keep the house climate controlled, make sure that all the big appliances are running, our power stations are getting charged back up during that time, or if we need to cook because our house is electric. Now 100 gallons of fuel might seem a little excessive, but I have seen simple storms come through and us be without power for weeks. So at that point in time, it isn't excessive at all. So a couple things to keep in mind is that when you don't have power, neither does the people that supply you with fuel. And the reason I'm going so far ahead of time is because whenever this storm gets closer, people go into full panic mode, and the line just to get to these gas stations can be hundreds of cars long, and then it never fails. When it finally becomes your turn, they're out of fuel. So you've sat there all that time for absolutely nothing. And you end up having to drive miles and miles and miles, sometimes 100 miles away just to get fuel. So getting this fuel ahead of time is going to kind of nip that in the bud. It's going to take a little headache away, and we always need the fuel anyway. It might take us a little while to use it all up, but hey, that's okay. And as far as the regular gas goes, you know, we have a buggy that we drive as much as we drive our vehicles, and we have a small gasoline powered generator. So if we need supplement power that requires that small generator, we also have gasoline for it. Now, using the buggy for your primary means of transportation, the fuel usage can be pretty substantial after a while. And a lot of times when these storms come through, you have to have gas to mix up for your two-stroke chainsaws, things like that, because you don't know what the condition the roads are going to be in. Is there going to be a lot of trees falling on the road? You're going to have to cut your way out to get to the rest of civilization. There's just a lot of unanswered questions that if you're not prepared for, you'll be kind of stuck. Well, that little fill up came to the grand total of $377.24. Definitely stings the pocketbook, to say the least. But you know, it goes back to what the old saying is: better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it, or need it and can't get it. At least we have it. Now, if something happens and the storm intensifies when it gets here, there's more damage, there's longer times without the electricity, so forth, so on. We're covered for a pretty good while. Come here, Mama. Come here, you hungry? Come here, Mama. Come here. Come here. It's all right. It's all right. I ain't gonna hurt you. Yeah, good girl. Good girl. Oh, Lord. Well, folks, they've done it again. Somebody dumped off another dog. Looks like she's going to have puppies any day. Now, why on earth would somebody think that they could dump a dog out that's about to have puppies in the middle of nowhere and they'd be able to fend for themselves? Lord have mercy. Well, I guess the only thing I can do for now, just to make sure she don't belong to somebody, which I know she don't because this is in the middle of nowhere, I guess I'll just get some food and bring down here for a couple days, and if nobody claims her or takes her, I guess that we'll have to take care of her. She sure can't take care of herself. Look how heavy of a puppy she is. She is skinny, skinny, skinny. All right, baby. I'm going to go get some food and I'll bring it back. Y'all, I just can't understand for the life of me how somebody can own an animal, wait till it's about to deliver puppies with a huge storm headed this way, dump it out in the middle of nowhere, and this has obviously been your dog for quite some time. Now it's going to have puppies, and it's going to be in the middle of a storm. Now, how is it supposed to take care of itself and a litter of puppies that's about to be this way? Ah, Lord. So I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring some food and water down here for it and just keep it in a place that's safely off the road best I can, just in case it did happen to get away from a homeowner, which I can't see that happening. It's a long ways from anywhere here. And it did have a mark on its neck where it did have a collar on for quite some time, you can tell. So chances are they took the collar off of it and dumped it out on the side of the road. So I'm going to feed it for a day or two, and if nobody claims it, takes it, then I'm just going to assume that nobody owns it. At that point in time, I guess I'll take it to the Cajun Country Living homestead, and we'll make sure that it's got a nice place out of the weather to stay, gets food and water. And the next time we're available to have a little bit of time off, we'll take it to the vet and see if it's got a chip and see if it belongs to somebody.
As soon as Jim got home and told me about this pupper, we had to go back and get her. Poor little thing. There's no way that she would have survived out there with all those pups. So we decided to go ahead and bring her home. And if we see some missing posters, we will absolutely return her. But in the meantime, until we can check and see if she's chipped, she's here with us. So I elbowed my way to a seat. You're curious if Gus and Francine are getting along. Well, Gus doesn't seem to care. So we were so glad to get all of our power stations done. The gas is here, and now we won't have any real reason to leave the house. So I think we should be good, other than just actually doing the stuff around the homestead that needs to be done.
But in typical fashion for us, we're kind of like almost set up for things. You know what I mean? That's usually the way things end up for us. We are working on it, but not quite there. We do have a storm shelter that is ready to go. It might not be the most comfortable thing in the world, but it'll keep us out of the storm. If y'all watched a couple videos ago, you see we set this upper level of containers for our container shop. Well, we've been a little busy with, I don't know, everything else around here trying to keep up with things. Lord, with the grass cutting and the bush hogging and there's so much stuff that goes on. Well, there's one little minor detail that we haven't done yet, and that's welded these puppies down. And I'm just assuming that with hurricane force winds, that might be something that we probably should pay close attention to.
Yeah, I agree. So we're going to start out by getting this welded down. It doesn't have to be welded completely out, but it does need to have something to hold it down. Because even if that storm does not directly hit us, there's still a lot of spin off that we're going to get, whether it's winds and rains. As y'all can see, well, I don't know if y'all can see it or not, but right this second, it's actually just starting to sprinkle. So this is going to be how it starts, and then it's going to start getting more and more, darker and darker, and start storming and getting worse. You might have to cut it out. Okay, that makes me feel better.
Definitely need oil. All right.
As for our animals, being that we're not going to have the eye that's going to hit here and it's just going to be more winds and rain, we're just going to go ahead and leave them where they're at. The chickens are in their coop and the goats have their hootis hut or hoof hut, or what does it say? The hoof hut. Like I was the one that painted that or something.
Now that's saying the eye won't hit here. But we do have a contingency plan, just so you know. There is a barn really close to here, a very structurally sound barn. So if the weather does look like it's going to turn and put us in a precarious situation, we're going to load them up and take them to that pipe reinforced barn, and they'll be good and safe there.
And then as for the chickens, what we'll do is we'll just let them out. So right now we just have them locked up. They actually do better if you let them out because they kind of have that mother nature instinct of, I need to find shelter. So that's kind of the plan with them, but we just wanted to give you all an update on what we're going to do there. Of course, we are going to let the pupper dogs in the house if the weather starts turning too crazy. So I think that covers all the animals.
You know, if any of those chickens ever had a dream, you know, if they were just sitting around in their little chicken world and being like, you know what, I have a dream to soar like the eagle. this might be their chance.
I thought you were going to say, like, they did have a dream, but that one chicken ruined it. Chicken Little?
And like we said before, most of the time you do have time for preparedness with all of our meteorological, whatever you want to call it, advances. But you have to keep in mind, okay, what would I want to put off, if anything? Because when that storm comes in, there's going to be a lot of wind, there's going to be a lot of rain, even before the really bad stuff hits. So would I like to take care of it now when it's just the occasional sprinkle? Or would I like to go out and tend to it when it's rain blowing sideways and wind's trying to blow you off the buggy? That's the reason we're trying to get all this stuff done now. When and if it does hit landfall in our location, we want to be in a situation where we have nothing to do and everything is totally secure. So here's kind of the weird thing that goes on around these hurricanes. There's such a change in the barometric pressure in the atmosphere that a lot of times, if there is going to be a berth taking place soon, a lot of times it'll happen during these hurricanes because of that reason. And our new addition to the family over there, well, at least a part-time addition, she's already looking for a place to potentially have these puppies. She's been trying to nest out and do all kinds of things, drag stuff up. So she's trying to build her a nest. So Lydia's going to take care of her and get her put in her house and get her situated now. Now, during Katrina, one of the hospitals down there, I can't remember which one it was, there was like 10 ladies in there that was about to give birth. And whenever that hurricane come through, it induced 8 of them. So that's kind of an odd thing that happens with this pressure changing. And I don't know, it's just a weird phenomenon.
So the later that it's got today, the more rain that we've been getting, but the winds haven't been as bad. So fingers crossed that this is all that we're gonna get, and we'll keep y'all updated.
When the sun's going down, no stars in the sky, I'ma head down the road.
The last time that I checked in with y'all was last night, and since then the storm has continuously moved away from us.
And like we keep saying over and over, these things are predictably unpredictable. Right here where we are standing was supposedly the direct eye path of this storm. And it was predicted to only be a Category 1 at best, most likely just a tropical storm. Well, when it hit our neighbors all the way to the east side of the state, on the opposite side of the state, at a Category 2, sustaining 100-mile-an-hour winds.
Now, what defines a hurricane Category 1 through 5? I'm going to put the list over on this side of Jim. The wind speed is what determines if it's going to be a tropical storm, whether it's going to be a hurricane Category 1 through 5. So I'm going to list that over here so y'all can kind of see what they were dealing with whenever it hit.
You know, we feel like we took all the proper precautions this time that we could. You can only plan for the unknown as best as you can. We had fuel. We caught an abundant supply of water in storage containers, not only for drinking water, but you know, you have to have, if you still have a toilet left, when the storm comes through, you have to have a way to flush that toilet, because more than likely the municipal water system will be shut down also. There's all these things to put in place, and we had those things in place. We just got really fortunate that it didn't hit us directly. Thank goodness.
But being that this area was intended to be hit, we just really hope that the area that did get hit over by Baton Rouge area on the east side of the state was able to have enough time to prepare, because we know that we're so fortunate to be able to prepare like we did, and we had a lot more time than they did. Right now down there in southeast Louisiana, there is over 275,000 people without power. And we could have easily been one of those people, and we have been one of those people before.
And our hearts really go out to those people, because when Hurricane Laura come through, we ended up not having water for 5 weeks and no power for 8 weeks. And that is miserable. And that's what a lot of those poor folk are facing right now. Even up into Mississippi. I mean, this is a huge storm, covers a lot of ground, and it goes on for a long ways.
Now, being that we were on the west side, the hurricane's always going to spin one way, so it's spinning this way, it's going to keep going this way, and we are over here. So being that we're on this side, all that we're really going to get is kind of what you see behind us, maybe a little bit of scattered rain here and there, some winds, and really kind of a cool front. I hate to say it like this, but we're actually going to get kind of decent weather.
We hate that that's how it had to go, but at the same time, we are fortunate that we were able to come through this without damage. And now for the next time those containers are welded up, we have that covered now. That needed to be done anyway. So sometimes in situations like this, best case scenario is that you got a bucket list of things that needed to be done, checked off your list.
Francine kind of give us a nudge in the direction we needed to go. Like Lydia said, we got the containers welded down, got I guess a new dog.
And she did get a name, and we did, of course, name her Francine. So as of right this second, we don't have pups yet, but we'll be keeping y'all updated on that, and we'll see what Francine's gonna bring us. We have no clue. We don't have anything to know about this dog besides the fact that she's pregnant, so.
She could be having kangaroo puppies for all we know.
All right, Cajun family. Well, next time that we see you, maybe we'll have our arms full of pups, because I will tell y'all one thing. She definitely has a lot in there. So y'all drop in the comments and guess how many puppies she's gonna have. That'll be fun. And we have no clue. I know we could take her to the doctor and get an x-ray done, but as of right this minute, she kind of seems like she's in early labor. She's been doing a lot of nesting. Her temperature's been dropping a little bit. So we're gonna keep a really close eye on her. But if she doesn't have them in, I don't know, maybe the next week, we'll take her up there and get her an x-ray done just so we can see. But till then, y'all make sure to drop in the comments and guess how many pups she's having.
I'll be so glad when she has these puppies. I'm so tired of making peanut butter and pickle sandwich.